Hey, Blake here. I want to first off apologize for the lighting. I'm really sorry. Like I mentioned in my last video, I'm actually going abroad like right now. I'm in upstate New York right now. I'm not home and I'm in like a random dorm that I'm just staying in for the night and I'm flying out tomorrow morning. Um, so I'm just making this video like super quick and I hope all is going well and I hope my flight goes well. First off, the things I'm going to say for today, how has like me being out affected parts of my life? I'd say that it hasn't really changed any parts of my life. I wasn't out in high school, so I came out in college to my college friends, and then my high school friends just found out. But then it was kind of like that wasn't part of my life anymore. Like that was the past. That was high school, and I guess maybe that's just my personality. I was able to leave it behind, and so like I was so detached from it. So like I started my college life out. So it wasn't like anything changed. I just had a new life. I was more open, more free, I guess. And then with my family, I mentioned before, it's kind of interesting. Like they know that I identify as queer. It's not like there were any big drastic changes. Like nothing has changed. Like they don't even really acknowledge it. So they just treat me like they always have. I've been out all of college. I came out a few times in college. So when I first got to college during orientation, I told everyone that not everyone, but whoever asked, I like said that I identified as transgender, like strictly FTM, transgender. And then due to some bad experiences telling people that, I mean, I go to a women's college, and so some people weren't very supportive of someone identifying as male or like someone saying claiming to identify as male coming to their school. And so I got a lot of negative reactions, and particularly one really close friend of mine had a horrible reaction. And so I stopped telling people that I identified as FTM. I said you'd say I went back into the closet. It got to a point where I actually felt like I stopped identifying as strictly female to male transgender. I don't know how really to explain it. I don't think that I actually forced myself like to change my mind, but I actually do think that I might have thought about it too quickly, because when I actually used to think about myself as transgender, I still thought really binarily, and then I ended up doing a lot of research and stuff, and then eventually I figured it out. But anyways, I started to like stop telling people that I was FTM, and I started to tell people that I identified as a lesbian, and that's how people knew me for a majority of my Wellesley career so far. Was that they just thought I was a lesbian. They thought I presented pretty masculine. They assumed I was like a boy, BOI. Um, and then this year, like this November, I actually started telling people to call me by masculine pronouns, and I started like really like trying to explain to people what my identity is. Because I felt that it would better my life at Wellesley, which was a big struggle because I still wasn't telling people like who I was. Um, so now I identify as genderqueer, gender variant, whatever, and I no longer identify as lesbian or FTM. Um, do I feel that being queer and a person of color is a double whammy? Yeah, I think it really I think it really can be a double whammy, I guess, or it's two in one. It's two like minority identities tied into one person, and sometimes people tend to forget that that it's possible to have multiple facets to an identity, and it is difficult to reconcile that because just like everyone else, sometimes I forget, and I always, sometimes I would feel like I have to choose. I'm either black or I'm either gay. I can't be both, but really you have to think. I have to rethink that that's quite possible to have more than one part of what makes me me. Are you out to your roommate? Do you plan on coming out to your roommate, or how did she take it? Uh, so I've had like a lot of roommates, but so my first year roommate was fine. She like knew about gay people, but like it wasn't like really like I don't think she ever really thought they actually existed or something. But I don't know. When I told her, she was really shocked, and she was like, she was like, "Wait, you're gay? As in like you like you like girls?" Like she was. I think she had trouble like wrapping her mind around it because I think it was more of like a removed type of a removed type of like being to her. And but once I told her, she was fine. Like it wasn't like she had any problems with it or anything. It just took her some time to actually understand. And then my second roommate was fine. She doesn't care. Um, she was just like, all right, cool, and she doesn't have any problems with anything queer or anything. And I mean, I have like right now I have a roommate, and I mean, that's fine too. She's right here. I've never had a negative experience coming out to someone that I actually live with, which is really a blessing because I know a lot of people struggle, and I've known people who had to like change rooms in the middle of college, like in your first year. It's not really something you want to worry about. There are so many other things you need to be dealing with. At school, I guess I would consider myself to be like an undercover activist, I guess. I don't know. So I'm really involved in queer things and queer equality on campus. Not so much off, especially in the realm of gender, because since it's a women's college, I definitely understand going. Some people go to women's colleges to be completely surrounded by women. They don't come to be forced to work with men, and that's what I guess transgender people would consider. That's what transgender people are. They're at least FTMs are male, but I still think that it's important that everyone in a school community feel accepted and welcome and safe. So I'm really involved in things of that nature at my school. But people don't really realize that until they see me at some sort of function or on some sort of panel because I spend a lot of time playing Ultimate and I have practice about 4 times a week and I have tournaments on the weekend, so I'm like not really ever on campus and people only see me with my team, which has become my friend base, which is good and bad, but this isn't about that. And so like people don't really notice until I'm in their face about it. But I guess you'd say I'm an activist. I'm definitely not in the closet in any way at school. Um, have you ever been told it's just a phase? And how did you respond to the person saying that? I've been told that. My mother said it many times. I've had a couple friends say it to me. But I mean, I just smile. Like, you can't really change people's minds when they say things like that. The only way to change their minds is to, like, have them see that it's not a phase. So, I mean, if I came out to my mom, I came out to her 2 years ago, she still hasn't really accepted it. I'm just assuming it's going to take her some time. Um, maybe in a few more years she'll realize that it's not a phase because phases don't last for so long. But I don't think arguing is going to change anything in any way because when it's a phase, people really believe that this is like they don't people who are quote in a phase don't realize that they are. So I don't think there'd be any way to convince her that it wasn't. And what I said kind of means that I might be in a phase. Who knows? Have I ever dated outside of my gender? Technically, technically yes, or not technically, but yes. I've dated binarily on each side of the binary. I've never actually dated someone who identifies not as strictly female or male. Uh, so yes, I have. Yeah, that was a ton of questions, and I hope I got everything out. If anyone has any questions or needs any clarification, don't hesitate to post a question in like the little comments area, or you could even, if you have a comment or anything, you could do that as well. All right, thanks. I hope you had a good time listening, and I hope I have safe travels to Africa.